Hey everyone, this is the second video in the series of how to escape or reverse turtle position. One of my favorites, the fat roll.
When I'm in this position, certainly in a fight, I'm covering my head. But when I would look to do fight or jiu-jitsu tournament or wrestling, I'm going to capture this wrist and I'm going to cinch it down as tight as humanly possible. I'm going to try to put his fist to my opposite hip. From this point, I'm going to, if I need more leverage, I'm going to angle myself into him just a little bit more. Very important here is I'm going to put my elbow to the ground. And I'm going to let just my right hip hit the ground, and I'm going to look over my shoulder. I'm going to come around, keeping that wrist if I can. I can then let go and start attacking. The most important thing, what makes this move work really, really well, is again capturing the wrist. If I cinch this as tight as humanly possible, once I start my roll, he's basically connected to me. We're one fluid piece. He's going to go with me if I do it right. And even in a gi, I would prefer to grab the wrist as opposed to the fabric. What you'll see sometimes is people will just pinch down with their arm. I would say you pretty much have to grab the wrist, or you should. Now, when we do this move and we're learning it, what happens when people try to do it live for the first few times is they don't post on their elbow, they fall to their shoulder. And what happens when we do that, if I go to my shoulder, I get flat. Now this guy's going to usually cross face me. He's going to get heavy. He's going to get his wrist back. We're not going to be in a good position. So 9 times out of 10, when you first learn this move, you're going to catch the wrist, you're going to fall on your shoulder, and it's not going to be any good. So again, one more time. Cinch it tight. I'm going to put my elbow down, fall into my right hip, turn, and I'm going to keep that wrist until I've captured a more dominant position. I just rolled Joe. You're not always going to cleanly be able to turn towards the feet. A lot of times, especially higher belt guys, this position, these guys are going to start trying to climb up our back. So if he starts coming around with this arm here, I need to be very careful of my neck and other things like that. So if he does get to this position, I wasn't able to turn towards his body, I'm worried about this choking hand, is I'm just going to still continue to keep the wrist, and I'm going to circle towards the head. So he got me in this position, I'm going to try to stay low. From here, I'm going to drive into him, and I'm going to turn over the top. So Joe has now been replaced with JR. Bigger guy here. The way that I showed the fat roll with Joe is going to work on this guy and guys like him. But I'm going to show another way that's going to add just a little bit more power to the roll if I really need that assurance to get a bigger, stronger guy moving over the top. So what I'll change sometimes with the big guy is I'll add elevation. I'll use a stand-up to then trigger my roll. I'm going to use gravity to help assist. I'm going to go from high to low. So when this big guy's on me, protecting my head if it's a fight, I'm going to grab the wrist. I'm going to step up. If I meet resistance or if I stand up, like I maybe would start to feel like I'm going to get pushed forward or I can't get my other foot off the ground, is I'm going to go from high to low. Elbow still goes to the ground. Still going to catch that wrist, come around. So one more time. I'm going to catch his wrist. I'm going to stand up hard. Maybe I want to just stand up to my feet. If I know that I'm going to meet resistance there, I'm just going to hit this roll. So I'm going to catch. I'm going to stand up. Elbow's going to go to the mat. Keep the wrist until I figure out a better spot. Kimuras are over here. I can start attacking that. It's a great move. Big guys, little guys. I go from turtle, a defensive position, not an offensive position, to a very dominant position.
Hey, if you liked the video, please subscribe. If you didn't like the video, please subscribe anyways. As always, too, please look for me on Instagram and Twitter at Ben_Egli. Thanks, guys.